You can't lie to yourself. You can lie to her all day long, but you can't lie to yourself. Nah, I'm just go over there real quick. No, you're not, bro. You gonna leave in about an hour afterwards. You know what I'm saying? And you know it. How many times you gonna lie to yourself? Them urges kick in. They gonna show that they stronger than you. So the thing is, you gotta meet the idea of that urge before it even pops up. Like the idea popped up, nah, we're not chilling at your house. Oh, you cooking tonight? That's fine, but I'm gonna take you out. Or hey, how about we just go get a drink instead? Like you gotta take the control, you know. So if we don't take the control, if we don't take the lead, then how she's supposed to follow? She needs to know there's some kind of boundary here, because if you seek to be a disciplined man of God or a disciplined husband in the long run, if you're a single man at the moment, then who you are today is who you're going to be later. You don't become that once you get a title. I'm now husband. I now have a ring, so I act differently. No, you don't. Your character right now is what's going to carry you out later. So if you can't control this today, you're going to fail later.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Flip That Switch. I'm your host, Brandon, aka B to the Sis Naive, and we back with another episode. If you didn't get a chance to go back and watch the previous episode, please go back and watch it. It was a great episode. Matter of fact, before you watch this one, go back and watch that one. But today we're going to be diving into a new episode, and we're going to be talking about a man and his sexual discipline. Ugh. Wow. If that's not a topic, if that's not a heavy topic, I don't even know what is. So yeah, we're gonna be diving into that today. And I thought the perfect people to be coming on to do the episode with me is my boys Doug and Jonathan. So they've been on episodes in the past with me. Look, I told y'all before, me and them been rocking since 2013, and just been boys and been solid, man. The friendship is blood couldn't make us any closer, man. And I've appreciated them for what they've done for me, and I hope vice versa. And you know, what's funny is we were just hanging out the other day, and we kind of got on this subject about that, and conversation was limited because I think we had to end up leaving. But I was like, man, we need to do a topic on this. Somebody's got to be inspired by this. Somebody needs to hear this. So today we're gonna be talking about that. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Doug and Jonathan to the show. What's up, y'all?
Man, what's going on, everybody?
What up?
Yeah. How y'all doing, bro?
Man, Thanksgiving tomorrow, bro. That's my favorite holiday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
Yes,
I'm big 4-0 tomorrow, so you
Hey.
know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Please tell Doug happy birthday in the comments.
Hey, what's going on?
He's joining the 40 club. Welcome to the club, bro, early.
Yep. So I'm gonna do the fam tomorrow, and then I'm on a plane, fam. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm right with you, man. We getting ready to go to San Diego for the weekend. So
nice.
That's dope.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to the game. Go watch Ohio State put it on Michigan real quick. You know what I'm saying?
You know what, bro? No, that's music to my ears. Because
don't get out in front of your skis though, bro. Because they done had an easy pathway to this undefeated record this year, and these SEC teams. I'm just saying.
Listen, let me explain something to you. I haven't even cared about any of the other games but this game.
Yeah, well, this is always the game. This is the rivalry.
Yeah, this is circled on my calendar.
Yeah, this is what it is. I hate that it's in Ann Arbor though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wish it was in Columbus, but you know, it is what it is, man.
That's okay. We owe them some payback. They came into our house and won last year.
Yeah.
We owe them some payback.
Okay, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, man, that should be fun. Then get a little hike on in the mountains and stuff. Man. So that's it. That's what's going on. But I'm ready to rock and roll, baby. What's up? What you got on your mind?
Yeah, let's go. Let's talk about it. All right. So I'm going to just dive right in with y'all then, man. So a man and his sexual discipline. I want both of y'all to tell me what y'all think the definition of a man and his sexual discipline means to y'all. And I'll start with you, Doug.
Okay. I will say it's very simple, and I'm going to say this in general terms for all men out there.
Okay.
Sexual discipline for me is I have a life, I have priorities, I have goals, I have things that I need to get done in my life. I have a path. Some of you may call it a purpose, whatever. Sex does not outweigh those things.
Hmm.
And I will choose those things over sex because I'm building something.
Yeah.
And I just say it like this: priorities over sex. You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying sexual discipline is abstinence. Those are two different things. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? But when we think about it, what are you choosing in your moment? Especially fellas, are we choosing the grind, the success, the goal, the whatever it is we're really going after? Or are we choosing sex? You know what I'm saying? Because the truth of the matter is, and I've learned this in a few different ways, when you're actually doing something and you're actually on your grind, actually doing what you have to do,
Yeah.
that tends to come easy as a byproduct. But when
Mm.
you're chasing it and you're putting all your effort and your energy into that, and then you look at your goals and your life is just slipping away.
Yeah.
So, I would definitely say just having priorities, having a path, having something you're aiming for, and being able to choose that over sex and everything that comes with sex.
I love it. I love that. What about you, Jonathan?
Um, I see it as more so maturity and self control. Um, but it can also have like a dark turn to it. In some cases, it might be a coping mechanism, like the lack of sexual discipline. Because like me back in the past, in my darker days, that was one of the things that it occupied my mind off the trauma and like growing up trauma, parents, that sort of thing, my environment that I was in, and any kind of trauma that I had or my bros had, anything like that. Our go-to was, let's hit the club. Let's go chase female because you hit the club and you get the numbers, then you start setting appointments or whatever you want to call it. But in the end, once all that post nut clarity, once you hit that, all of a sudden, all that trauma start coming right back. All of a sudden, you look at the decision you just made, and you're like, "Dang, I really don't want to be here with this one." And so lack of discipline causes you to just put blinders on and just walk in the room blind. Walk in the darkness trying to find your way, and there's no true path without discipline. So you can just walk down the road with the wrong person, and then you look up, you got a kid with them or something like that. So when you have sexual discipline, you have self control. You're no longer controlled by this desire, this urge, or whatever. And just like Doug said, when you talk about purpose and goals and stuff like that, when you lack sexual discipline, all these goals that you have start to slip away. It becomes a to do list that keeps piling up. Your life stays still, but the to do list is getting bigger. And now you're trying to figure out why you're not further along or whatever because, bro, you don't have discipline yet. You're controlled by this. You can be manipulated by, if you're a man, you can be manipulated by a woman, or women go through this too. They can be manipulated by a man. If you don't have sexual discipline, now they control you. Those urges control you. And so I think it's a part of my personal growth started with that. My growth with God and with reading again personal development books and stuff like that, along with the Bible. It started with sexual discipline first, and it gets so when you're so caught up in your direction, you kind of forget about it at a point. When you're chasing your goals and like Doug said, you're going down your path and everything, you're so deep in it that you kind of forget about the other things. So it's like, how do I get off of discipline in order to veer to the wrong person? I've had a guy, I'm not gonna say who it is, but y'all know who it is. He he gave me some advice years ago, and he was like, "Bro," and we was talking about this very thing, sexual discipline and everything like that. And he was like, he was encouraging me to stay patient and stay strong, but at the same time, he said, if you're gonna make a mistake, he was like, make it count. He was like, don't just jump out. Because he gave me good advice, but he gave me bad advice. But at the same time, he was like, if you're going to make a mistake, make it count. Don't just be jumping out here with anybody. Find quality. Maybe that can unravel into something greater, but at the most, you won't regret it. Like, I've had many regrets in the past. Like what I was saying, that post nut clarity thing. It's like, dang, what did I just do right here? But yeah, sexual discipline. It can get very deep. Just to sum it up.
No, for sure. For sure. And if you're not careful, man, I like what both you guys said. And if you're not careful, it will become an idol.
Mm-hmm.
And once it becomes an idol, it's a wrap.
Yep.
That's all you're thinking about. Like you said, all goals, everything that you're trying to accomplish, dreams, things that you're trying to make happen, it goes to the wayside because that's all you can think about.
Yeah. And it's not just that, bro. We also forget all of the back end stuff that has to take place in order to get there in the first place.
Right.
Going out on the search, being on the scene, having the conversations, exchanging the information, responding to the text and the phones. And if you the dating type for that type of activity, then you got to go on the dates and you spending the money and it's a whole back end system when you active. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like all of those things take time. All of those things take energy. All of those things take resources. And it's a slippery slope, of what are you actually getting done here?
Man, speaking of going out to the club, I've always wondered this, like, how does a man who is trying to have discipline, how does he stay out of environments that encourage sexual habits? You know what I mean? Because it's like, man, I'm trying to do the right thing, right? I'm trying to practice this. I'm trying to be good with this. But I'm in Dallas. Everywhere I look, everywhere I go, you know, I might not be going to the club. Okay, let's say I'm going to Target. They in Target.
Yeah.
Let me go to the coffee shops.
Hey, that's me all day.
Right. Let me go to the cigar lounge. I'm gonna go smoke a cigar, relax with the fellas, chill. Guess what? They in the cigar lounge. You know what I mean? So how do y'all think that, or how should a man proceed to stay out of those type of environments when he's trying to practice sexual discipline, right?
I think it starts with know thyself. You have to know what your triggers are. You get what I'm saying? Like for some people, it doesn't happen when they're out, like going out on the scene, on the prowl, and all that type of stuff. No, you just met the young lady and she hit you with that text, like, what you doing? You know what I'm saying? Or is she trying to slide through or whatever it is, So you just have to know what your triggers are. We don't want to go swing the pendulum too far one way where you just cooped up in the crib and you cutting off all contact and you doing all that. That may be necessary for some people. You get what I'm saying? Like I'm so unfocused on anything other than these type of things in my life where I just need to cut it out. But outside of that, it's just knowing yourself. Like if you know that going to the club, having a few drinks, or going to the party, the lounge, the hookah, whatever. You have a few drinks, you see her, and you friendly, you know what I'm saying, you flirtatious. Then maybe you do cut that out for a little bit. I need to focus. I need to chill. But ultimately, bro, it really comes down to your why. You know what I mean? Why do you want sexual discipline in the first place? Like, what does this matter? Because it's going to change depending on the person. For some people, it's just a drain. For other people, it's time consuming. For other people, they end up in drama all the time. You know what I mean? It's like them and women in that whole toxic situation, they just can't help it. You know what I mean? It's always some situation. And so when you know yourself and you know why you want to be disciplined, it kind of provides that clarity of what you need to do in order to be disciplined. But you can't lie to yourself. I
Yeah.
think we try to tell ourselves, oh, she can come over, or oh, I'll just go over and we just gonna chill. Man, you knew what it was when the text message came through.
Right.
Like, stop playing with yourself. You know what I mean? Like, be honest with yourself. And so that's where
Yeah.
I would say it starts.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, man, like what's funny is I used to be that guy and be like, you know what? And let me tell you how I would rationalize it. I'd be like, hold up, bro.
Trust me, we don't have these conversations. You know, I already know. You can let
Hey,
them know. You know what
look, look. I know y'all know. I would be like, you know what? I'm gonna challenge myself.
I'm saying?
I'm gonna prove. I'm gonna prove that I can go over here and do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Like, bro, like it would
Mm-mm.
be times where I pull up. I'm all right. I'm good. I got the discipline. 2, 3 hours go by. Yes, I haven't done that. I'm celebrating myself.
Bruh. Bruh. And you know, we ain't gonna bring up no certain situation. But
Yeah, bro.
it'd be
So
like, bro, how many times you gonna go down this road? It's insanity at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
what we
no, for
doing?
sure. No, for sure. It get yeah, and like you said, man, you gotta look yourself in the mirror and be like, bro, you know what's finna go down. You know
Yeah.
this is a problem. You know this is gonna turn into a problem, and
Yeah.
you know you ain't finna just go over there and be on no chilling, like you said.
Nah.
It's just not gonna happen.
If y'all's pattern has not been to chill, what
Yeah,
makes you think that this time y'all are just gonna chill? Like, you're lying to yourself. You get what I'm
yeah,
saying? And
no,
like, so that part, you did set yourself up for failure. You did put yourself in a situation
Yeah.
where, and clearly being disciplined mattered less than spending that time.
mm, man, oh man, wow, Jonathan, what you got, man?
Um, man. So one way, I'm going back to what Doug was saying. One way to avoid is knowing your why. And once you know why you're seeking sexual discipline or even self-discipline, let's call it that, self-discipline. Um, it also changes your desires. So
Mm,
in a way, like if you're trying to not even control, change your discipline or change your desires, you just can't say, okay, I'm deciding to be disciplined and that's it, and I'm gonna stop this and that. No, bro, you got to replace some things. You got to pour into yourself. Once you start pouring into yourself, what goes in must come out. And so once you start to transform your mentality, you start to transform your desires. All of a sudden, you don't want to hang out over here anymore. Or in a situation you're talking about, you and her going to chill, all of a sudden you take the lead. We're not chilling at your house. We're going to chill over here in public. And then when it's time to go, it's just maybe a hug at that. Get in your car, I'm going to get in mine. But you can't lie to yourself. You can lie to her all day long, but you can't lie to yourself. Nah, I'm just go over there real quick. No, you're not, bro. You gonna leave in about an hour afterwards. You know what I'm saying? And you know it. How many times you gonna lie to yourself? Them urges kick in. They gonna show that they stronger than you. So the
ooh,
thing is, you gotta meet the idea of that urge before it even pops up. Like the idea popped up, nah, we're not chilling at your house. Oh, you cooking tonight? That's fine, but I'm gonna take you out. Or hey, how about we just go get a drink instead? Like you gotta take the control. So if we don't take the control, if we don't take the lead, then how she's supposed to follow? She needs to know there's some kind of boundary here, because if you seek to be a disciplined man of God or a disciplined husband in the long run, if you're a single man at the moment, then who you are today is who you're going to be later. You don't become that once you get a title. I'm now husband. I now have a ring, so I act differently. No, you don't. Your character right now is what's going to carry out later. So if you can't control this today, you're going to fail later. So the
Yeah.
thing is, to stay out of those environments, you got to handle you first before you can even lead her later. So that's why I say, like,
Yeah.
know your why, pour into your character, start going through a whole character development phase, and you got to know why you're doing it. Because if you don't have a why, you'll easily fall off that path like that. Your partner say, "Come on, bro, let's go hang out over here." You got to be able to tell your partners no. Your partners want to go to certain environments. That's bigger than the woman. If you can tell your partners no, now you really got self discipline. Cause they gonna be the ones that influence you the most. They want to go turn up. They want to go over here where you know this ain't my environment no more. So you gotta be like, look, bro, I'm gonna catch y'all when y'all go to the next spot, or I'm gonna catch y'all before y'all go to the spot, cause I know me. You gotta say that to yourself and about yourself to them. I know me. Once you can handle that part, then you shut down everything. And
You
then
know,
just think of the level of respect you get from your bros and future woman. This becomes your reputation. He's known for this. He's known for that. You know, versus oh yeah, he don't even keep his word, so he fickle. He easy to break. That's weak character. We can get him to go. That's what'll screw you in the long run. That's just my opinion on it.
B, I want to throw a question out here real quick.
Yep.
There are a few different people. So Jay brought up habits. And I remember back in 14, 15, we were talking about what he just said. Like, we have to prepare now for the relationships we want in the future versus still living for the moment, right? So
Yep.
for the dude who doesn't really have a habit of going out there and doing this, sexual discipline is a little easier. You get what I'm saying? Because it's like
Yeah.
you don't have a habit of doing this. But like from the perspective of like, no, this is what we do. My question is, what really had to change on the inside where it clicked? Where it was like, you know what? I do need to do something different. I do need to change this habit about myself.
That's a
I
good one.
mean, oh yeah. So wake up calls, right? Experiences, bad things.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I mean, if God is not going to get our attention one way, He's going to get it the other way, right? One way or the other, we're gonna get that wake up call,
Yep.
and it's on us to either answer it when you're giving me the availability and the leeway to answer it, or we can answer it when something bad happens.
yeah,
And it's 9 times out of 10, like when you don't have sexual discipline, when sex isn't idle, when you are just worshiping sex, not normally it takes something bad happening for that wake up call to happen, for that wake up call, for that light bulb to go off in you and change you,
yeah,
right? Whether it's, I mean, I'm just throwing out things, but let's be real, you contract an STD,
Mm-hmm.
you get somebody pregnant, and now you're having to face a decision on if we have this baby or not. You got maybe you got multiple women now, they going after each other, fighting, or they fighting you, and something ends up happening from that. I mean, these are all things that happen as a result of you not as a result of that light bulb not going off in your head, you know. And I think a lot of people have to have that fear in them that, you know what, if I don't change, if I don't do something different, one way or the other, I'm gonna get that wake up call.
yeah,
Yeah.
People want to do the things and then pray, Lord, if you do this for me, I won't do this again.
yeah,
If you forgive me, I won't do this again. And then you escape the situation, like the girl gets her cycle or something, right? And you're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, thank you.
And
be
go
right
right
back.
back.
You go right back.
Yep,
Man.
And then you start telling yourself, man, I want to do right. I want to do good. I don't want to be doing this no more. And the next thing you know, you go right back to it. You want to know how I know? Because that was me.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
This, the stuff is it's real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I said this when I did the podcast with Lateris. I said, you know, when I had those abortions, that was my wake up call to be like, you know what, I got to do something different. I got to change. And even though I was still going out, like after that, my desires changed. Things started to get uncomfortable for me, right?
Hmm.
Like for me, it was like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to, go spend the night at somebody's house because, again, I know what's going to happen. Now I was still going out, day parties, turning up and stuff like that, but the sexual aspect of it changed for me, bro.
Yeah.
On
Damn.
top of that,
Mm.
I started praying, and then I had the desire. I was like, Lord, I'm done with this. I'm tired of. I'm seeing the same people when I go out every weekend, running into the same people doing the same stuff. I'm tired, and I was like, I'm done with this. And then that's when I met Destiny. I've
Yeah.
shared this story several times, right?
Yep.
So for me, it was like, bro, like the wake up call happened one way or the other, and I think people have to be mindful of that. It's like, bro, God is gonna get your attention.
Yeah.
So are you going to choose to let them get your attention while you're not too much in the fire? Or are you going to go and get in the fire, get burned, and then all of a sudden now, oh, I got your attention all of a sudden?
Mm.
That's the
Yep.
way it works.
It's how it happened to me right before I got to Concord, bro. In 1 week, I had lost like 4 racks, wrecked my car, falling out with a chick. It was just a whole bunch of stuff. And I was just looking
Man.
around like, dog, I'm not doing this no more.
Yeah, bro.
Like in general, just this whole wave. Like I just need to chill, because at that moment I hadn't decided that I was just like done. You get what I'm saying? And for me, when I got to in 14, I kind of had my focus taken, which made it easier for me to
Mhm.
be disciplined. You know what I mean? Because now there's a woman involved. We're doing our thing, so it's kind of like, oh, okay. Like I don't have to worry about the prowl and all the other type of stuff no more. But like, yeah, bro, same thing happened to me. It was like everything was just going downhill and it all happened so fast. And in the center of it was women. I was just like, nah, man, I'm good. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I need to chill out. Like let me sit down somewhere real quick. You know what I mean? Like let me
Yeah.
redo this, let me rethink this, and then the rest is history.
And it goes back to, like I said, bro, like the thing is, it's not like we're not given plenty of opportunities, right? We're given opportunity after opportunity. You escape situation, like I said earlier, you escape situation after situation, and you're getting convicted in the moment. Even in the moment,
Yeah.
you're thinking to yourself, like, bro, dang, I got to make this executive decision. Like, I already know if I go over here, what's up, right? Like you said earlier, and it's an internal battle that you're having inside. It's like,
Yeah.
I know I shouldn't be pulling up over here, but dang, and then the flesh wins,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and your flesh wins, and your flesh continues to be undefeated.
It's
Yeah.
a
No,
habit.
no losses, no L's.
No else. It's habit,
No,
bro. It's baked in.
Yeah.
And you got to think, we honestly get this at a young age. Like, if we really want to tell the truth, it starts going to the mall, going to the movies, getting the numbers, you in competitions with your bros, trying to see who can get more
Yeah.
numbers than the other person. And then
Absolutely.
once you become active, you know what I mean? Whether that's voluntary or whatever, it's like now all of a sudden you add that dynamic and you young and you dumb, so you just chasing that feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like they
yeah,
say, thinking with the wrong head in that sense.
Yeah.
And you just chasing, 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 chasing. And then we look up and we like, dang, this ain't all it's cracked up to be. Like, the question is it always worth it?
yeah,
What's the value of it? Not just the act, but what is the actual value of this thing now? And is it worth it at this stage of what I got going on?
yeah. And I think we have to also be real with ourselves because, like you said earlier, like we're men, right? We're wired to be the leaders. We're wired to go approach a woman. We're wired to kick off the conversation, initiate, take them out to dinner, buy the drink, and stuff like that. So, very few times are we put in a position where a woman is going to deny a man. And so we know this going in. Like we know, if you're talking the right game, if you're doing the right things, saying the right things, your actions lining up what you're talking about, you already know what's going to end up happening. And I'm not saying all women are like that, but let's be real, the majority of women are like that, you know?
It's crazy. I was having a conversation with my homegirl about this last night. We were out just having dinner, catching up, and we were talking about our little situations and all this stuff that's going on. And I was just remarking how everybody knows when they first meet the person on physical value what it is. Like that's a 30-second, 10-second, 5-second decision. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so now it's just what does it take to get across the finish line? You know what I'm saying? And different women have different criteria to get across that finish line. And when you go through the numbers enough, you tend to learn what those things are. And this is how we grow up, knowing what buttons to push, where the situation gonna roll, all this other type of stuff, because we knew from jump. You would not be here with me right now if that wasn't what it was. At least from the physical. Now you may have some other criteria, but from a physical aspect, you knew what it was when you saw me.
Wow.
I knew what it was when I saw you. Now we negotiate.
Oh boy.
So
Not negotiate, bro.
that's what it is. It's a dance.
Yeah. Nah, that's funny, bro. Yeah. Mm. You know, earlier, man, we talked about boundaries, right? Um, and we talked like Jonathan, you were saying earlier, like, y'all go out to eat, then when it's time to leave, y'all hug, y'all go y'all separate ways. And, you know, like I said, I truly believe that it's on the man to initiate and lead that effort, right? Initiate that this is not gonna happen. I'm not on that type of energy. What do you say to the men who feel like if I do create those boundaries, I'm looked at like a punk or like I'm weak because I'm not wanting to go there with a woman because I have the discipline. Oh, now I'm weak. Now I'm a simp. What would you say to the man that feels like that?
You, my opinion, you seem more weak because you do, because you lack the discipline to walk away, and she know it. So if you fall into it that time, then she know, okay, I got him. Now I can use it as a weapon. It's either it's gonna reward you or it's gonna manipulate you into doing what I want you to do. Because you're that weak to the flesh, I can get you now. But if you can't walk away like I think you can't walk away, then it's her playground at that point. But if you do walk away and you tell her nah, like nah, hey, you go ahead and go home. Now you almost in a way look like the authority figure, like a father. Hey, call me when you get home, because she's waiting on your lead. She's giving you the hints and she's trying to see if you're gonna take it. Now a coward will look like nah, I don't want to. Or a man weak to the flesh will be like, well, yeah, come on, he's looking excited. But the man that's like, hey, I know me, and I'm not necessarily in control of the situation, but I'm in control of my flesh right now. Hey, I'm gonna give you this hug. You call me when you get home, or text me when you get home. She might be like, dang, now she's thinking, but at the same time, she just you earned her respect. Now she's like, bro, this dude actually didn't take the bait, and like, dang, is he that in control of his flesh like that? Can he actually lead me? Because if he can lead his flesh to say no, then he can lead me in situations. It's not trying to control a person or anything like that, but you definitely need to control your own flesh. If anything that needs to be controlled, you need to control your flesh, or else somebody else will control it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that is also that's kind of become a toxic social media conversation. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like Now, when men have standards and boundaries and all these things, we sassy and we all of this.
Can
I
I
kind
add
of
to that?
think that exists. Yeah, I want you to. I kind of think that exists as a narrative on social media that doesn't really translate to the real world. You get what I'm saying? Because like I have certain criteria and rules, right? Like I'm not in relationship mode. So if I'm talking to a woman, we're having conversation, it comes out she's looking for a relationship, then I'm not going to sleep with that woman. Like, period in the story. Because you want something I'm not willing to give you, and I'm not trying to lead you on, put you in no woo woo woo. Or unless you sign these terms and conditions and you fully well aware as an adult, you know what I mean, where we are. But I tend to stay away. And so in doing that, having the conversations, I say no a lot in those situations. And between the honesty and being able to just be like, no, if you're going to hang out with me, this is not what time we on. If you want to hang out with me in any other capacity, that's cool. But you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be on no relationship or sexual time with you because we're in two different spaces. It's what he said earlier. That respect level goes up because it's like, oh, you're not like the rest of them. And I think
That
there
point right
is
there.
there's so much toxicity out here, right?
Yeah.
These, polarizing content sells, right? It gets the clicks, it makes the money. But I think the truth actually out in the streets is women respect men who have boundaries, men who take control, and not necessarily trying to be controlling over the woman, but it's like, I'm in control of my life.
Yep.
I'm in control of my decisions. This is where I'm going, and
Yep.
I'm not going to let you derail that.
Exactly.
That is attractive to women. And I think we sell ourselves short by thinking that if we don't close the deal right away, if we don't jump, we've lost something. And that's not true.
Take the
More
loss.
often, it's actually not an L, bro, for real. Because when you're honest and when you have boundaries,
Right.
that level of respect and attractiveness that she now has, it shows up in a few different ways. Oh, you
Right.
become her challenge, and now she wants to see. You know what I mean? Are you
Yeah.
really about this life you talking or not? You know what I mean? And I had a conversation, long email, text her, and I was like, look, if you cannot respect the fact that I'm not on relationship time and that I'm not going there with you, then I will stop communicating with you in this moment. This will be my last message.
And that's my thing. When some women, they might see it as you losing me in this moment, and that's why I say take the loss. I can take that temporary loss because to me it's not a loss. Like, look, man, look, it would be a loss if I gave in to my urge, because not only do I lose to the flesh, but I lost to you. Because now you no longer see me as a leader no more. I gave in too easy. So that's the real loss. If you see me losing this opportunity to smash you right now, it's a temporary loss in your mind, but long term, I just won because I've gained control over myself. I let her know I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm going. I can't be shaken, not by a woman. Because think, if I'm with you and another woman comes along, will I be shaken by her? So I got to be able to control me because even though you might be in a relationship, you're still going to see attractive other women. But the thing about it is, some men act on that attraction because their flesh is weak. So if I can say no to you, the one that I'm into, I can say no to anybody else. So my thing is, if in her mind that I'm weak, or what was it? You said something earlier about
Of being a punk if you don't give in. I mean, if you set the boundaries.
Yeah. When we were younger, we gave in, but then again, I guess we would be considered YNs back then, but we uncle level now. So there's some maturity here now. So I'm like, what you mean? I'm finna talk to you like uncle level. Cause think about it, when we were younger, think of how all the old heads was talking to us. Think of all the stuff they used to tell us. And it just went over my head back then until I got older. And I was like, man, now I'm saying it to young cats because there's some level of discipline now. Now I understand me. I need to understand me before I can learn you. So that way I'm not triggered. That way I'm not giving into the flesh too easily. Now it's more logic over temptation. Because now I'm thinking long term. If I do this now, what happens later? I'm seeing it already. So even when you go out on a date, like let's say, yeah, she looked good and you got these urges for her, but you seeing her character come out, you know, physical is here, but character is here. You got to think long term. See, that young cat gonna go for the physical, and he gonna face the damage of the character. But that old head, he gonna see the physical, and he be like, "Hey, young blood, fall back from that one. That ain't it right there." Because he thinking 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now, you gonna have a problem with that one. Because this look good today. Give her 10 more years, it's gonna drop. Give her 10 more years, it's gonna drop. Now it's gonna match her character. That's gonna come down here, and you gonna see who she really is. So you might want to start thinking ahead now, and get your flesh out of the way, get your other head out of the way, and think logically, bro. This is gonna be an investment, and you don't want that return on that investment.
Ooh, bro.
Man, you said something.
You said, man, that was a message, bro. That was a message. And you know what's funny? Back in the day, old head. See, I feel like this is one of those breaking the curse, right? Breaking the cycle, breaking the generational. Because back in the day, old heads would tell you, "Yeah, you need to go get that." As a matter of fact, you need to have about 4 or 5 of them on your roster.
A roster.
You need a Rolodex.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, and going back to what I said, if you didn't, you're like, man, this dude is a punk. He ain't even got no women. He a punk.
Yeah.
But like you said, as we get older, as we become uncles, you know, because it's coming.
Yeah.
Not going backwards, right? We got to break that cycle, man. We got to teach the young generation, like, bro, like that ain't it. Like, looks are gonna fade. All that stuff that you lusting over now is gonna fade.
Yeah.
The one thing that's gonna stay true is that character.
Boy.
And I think we made a lot of mistakes behind our bad character attracting women with bad character, leading to toxic situations, leading to bad decisions, leading to all the trouble. It's like, bro, if I run a strand through either life-changing events or events where something got badly messed up in my life, that strand is going to at some point run through a woman. And I ain't trying to demean women or anything like that. I'm just saying, in my personal decision making, in some of the lowest areas of my life, that has been around a woman.
No, I'm just saying, that was me.
Bad character me attracts bad character woman. We in bad situation.
And that was my turning point when y'all were talking about y'all's turning point. That was my turning point. Like, eventually I got to the point of saying, what's the common denominator of all these issues that I'm having with women? That, you know, before I gave my life to the Lord and I started, you know, going to Concord heavy. When I got to the last one and I started backtracking, I was like, I'm the common denominator of all this. And it's their toxicity and their negativity reflected mine. Like, I saw me in all of them. And that was a scary place because I'm like, at the same time I see me in all of them, I see my mom coming through all of them, which is actually coming out of me. So her traumas became my traumas that drew their traumas. And I was like, something got to break. So that was my turning point because it was a constant domino effect, a constant cycle that was not changing. And I was like, my first prayer to God was, Lord, fix me. That was my prayer. And from that standpoint, I began to grow with God. I began to grow in character development. And once I began to change, I didn't know I was changing until other people told me. But what I poured in was coming out. And then just like what Brandon said earlier, certain environments made me uncomfortable. The same environments that I used to go to every week. All of a sudden, when my character changed, it doesn't match that no more. And now I'm uncomfortable in them places. I try to, chill and be, all right, we out here, but it's like, bro, I gotta go, man. Like for some reason, I'm just uneasy here. I don't love it like I used to no more, bro. I gotta get up out of here. So I cut things short. I hang out when I can, but I gotta get up out of here. This ain't me no more. And so that was my turning point, bro. It was just a constant. I kept seeing the same cookie cutter beginning and end with woman after woman, and it was like only thing that needs to change right now is me. So Lord, fix me.
That's how y'all met me. That was the place I was in where y'all met me. Like
Yeah.
for real. Which is why I was going
Likewise.
so hard. You know what I mean?
Likewise.
On it while we were together. Like, hey, look, if we all say we trying to be in relationships and all of this, we gotta switch it up. We have to address this now. We can't wait, like it was said earlier, till we get the relationship or the marriage, because we probably gonna fumble that bag if
Yeah.
Yeah,
we don't have this under control.
Yeah.
Because it's always a new shiny car driving down the street. It's
Yeah.
always a new iPhone. It's always a new chain. You understand the analogy? They always there. It's a new generation of married. They always kicking out,
Yeah.
yeah.
and that's never going to change. And so you have to change. That's the
Yeah.
bottom line.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it, man. I love it. We quick to go to a spot and we'll go in, and if the vibe ain't, bounce.
Shoot, we did that 2 weeks ago. We went to that day
Yeah.
party. We all looked at
Yeah,
each other
no,
like,
It's like, ugh.
full transparency. Yeah, back in the day, we would have been like, oh yeah, let's pull up.
"Oh,
But
we was in there."
yeah, we was in there, and we
Yeah.
recently just went somewhere and was like, nope.
Oh,
Nah,
Uh,
oh,
and
not
bro,
it.
I appreciated that, dude. Like I really, I mean, obviously we've all grown. Like that goes without saying. But just the fact that our minds and our hearts are in growth mode, but then our actions start to reflect that, bro.
yeah.
Yep.
When your actions start to reflect that, that means okay, I'm
Yeah.
turning over that leaf.
It's real.
It's real, bro.
So I want to
Wow.
throw this out here real quick before we move on. One,
Yep.
when because we were talking about like back then, I read Think and Grow Rich, and there's a chapter in there. It talks about sexual transmutation, and what he talks about is our desire for sex is one of our strongest emotions, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
one of the strongest emotions that we have, which is why it's so hard, especially when you're in a habit, because it's like you're dealing with a primal, very root core emotion in us to go do
Yeah.
something, right?
Yeah.
It's the call of life when we really break it down to what it is. And he talks about when you get hit with that moment, go find your goal
Yeah.
and take that energy and put it in the goal.
Yeah.
Take that energy when that moment where it hits you and you're high on that energy,
Yeah.
go find something constructive to do
Yeah.
with that energy. And you by doing it, you transmute. That's why it's called sexual transmutation, or transform that
Hmm.
energy from sexual energy to creative energy, from sexual energy to disciplined energy, like when you go to the gym and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like
Right.
taking that desire when it hits and having an outlet for it, other than sending that text message, other
Yeah.
than making that phone call. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, and I think that was if there was something I poured into myself, because I didn't really get it from the I hate to say it like this because it's kind of bad, but I didn't get it from the religious aspect. You get what I'm saying?
I knew
We
you were
grew up
going
in the
there.
church, everybody was doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? So it was
Yeah.
like, you might get a message or two about it, but everybody know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like it came from when I started actually learning about pursuing success and goals where I realized, oh, what the old heads do be telling you, man, don't lose your life chasing behind a woman.
Yep.
Never understood it. You know what
Right.
I mean? Until you like, oh,
Yep.
okay. I need to take this energy that I have right now and go do something else with it.
Yeah.
Go put this somewhere else. And so I want to, like, if we talk about a practical step, like have something else you can go do that's meaningful and that matters when the time calls, because it's gonna call.
It is
Until
gonna
you
come.
until you hit the point where you just used to ignoring it, it's gonna call. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
It's gonna come.
And to throw into that, yeah, we've been talking a lot about women and all this other type of stuff, but that also includes them videos too. That also,
Yep.
you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
all of the ways we express that energy. You get what I'm
Yep.
saying? Having outlets for it and putting it somewhere was my saving grace. Like that mentality of, oh shoot, this just hit me. I know, let me get up and let me go write. Or, oh no, let
Yeah.
me get up and let me go do some work. Let me go. And I ain't gonna lie, it was some of my most creative, just free flowing times in the
Yeah.
things that I was doing in that moment.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Man, oh man. Well, I'm gonna get y'all out of here on this question. Obviously, it's the question that I like to ask everybody before we end the episode, and I'm gonna do this myself too. But I want each of us to give two pieces of advice to, let's say we're sitting at the table in front of 20-year-old Brandon, 20-year-old Doug, 20-year-old Jonathan, and they in the midst of it right now. Like the sexual temptation is there, they no discipline, and they're really trying to navigate life. Like, here's the thing: they have the desire, which at 20, I mean, if you have the desire to want to do better, you already, that's like 60% of the battle right there. Let's say they
Yeah.
have the desire, but the flesh is just, they taking L's to the flesh. They continuously taking L's to the flesh. And I want all of us to give two pieces of advice to help them navigate this. And what I what I'd like for us to do is just pretend that they are who we were at 20. So I'm gonna start with you, Doug. What pieces of advice would you give? Just two.
Uh,
20-year-old Doug.
Hmm.
Sit down and make a list of everything that's more important than this. Sit down and actually focus on the trajectory that you're on for your life. Clear that up, get that motion going, and worry about this on the back end. Because now at my age, making the moves that I'm making, it's the easiest it's ever been, which actually requires more discipline. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Back then, we used to have to put in that work. You know
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
trying to see
Yep.
who group text going out in the morning, trying to see what the play is for the day. Like it was
Yep.
work, it was energy. But I promise you, bro, if you get yourself together and you make the moves if you could make the moves I'm making right now, back then, bro, this will be the least of your concern. You'll be able to do what you want, when you want, how you want, so on and so forth. So focus on the path first, not the women. Put the women off to a side for a second. I would also say don't play the numbers game. If you are going to be active, find one, have an understanding, and just let that be that. But you do not need a squad, an assortment, or anything like that in order to be happy, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not worth the headache um, of all of those things that come with that. So those will be my two things, man. Like, hit the path first and get you one, and don't try to like stack the field because it's just too much work, bro.
I'll go next. I like that, by the way. That was a great. I would say, and it's kind of piggybacking off of what you said, but give yourself a clean slate, man. Like, it's okay that you have a past. We all have a past. We all have a chapter in a long book. If God decides to leave us on this earth, our book is going to go through a plethora of chapters, so many chapters, chapters that you can't even fathom or speak of right now because it's going to be so long, right? That was a chapter. That was your past. Give yourself a clean slate. Don't reflect on the past too much because the more you reflect on the past, the more you're going to start diving into the past. And then guess what? Now your thoughts turn into actions because you like, oh, this is what I used to do in the past and I can't escape that, right? So if I can't escape it, you know the saying, if you can't beat it, you join it.
Yeah.
So you start going back in your past. So don't focus on your past. Give yourself a clean slate. That way, if you renew your mind, you renew your spirit, you renew your heart, you can start over like you said, you can start focusing on things that will take you away from that distraction. The second thing I will say is surround yourself around people who you are trying to become. Surround yourself around people who have been where you're at and they've turned it around.
Yeah.
You don't want to be talking to the people who are still doing what you're trying not to do.
Exactly.
Because misery attracts company. Birds of a feather flock together. All those sayings are true and they resonate because I've experienced it. I've been a part of it, so I know they're real. Surround yourself around people who are like you were, but turned it around and see how they turned it around. Let them bounce their ideas off of you. You should be a sponge, soaking everything in, advice that they give you. Hey, look, I was here, but this is what happened. This was my wake up call. Listen to people's wake up calls because they're real.
Yeah. That's true.
Listen to people's experiences where God had to humble them because they're real.
Yeah.
So surround yourself around the crowd that you are trying to become. So those will be my two pieces.
Let me see if I can come up with two. I'm gonna come up with whatever I can.
Yeah, for sure.
I would definitely say to myself, stick to your vision and your creativity. Meaning, whatever it is, that thing that you enjoy doing, that brings life out of you. Life. That excitement that drew everybody to you, stick to that, double down on that. Because that's the very thing that, your joys was drawing all opportunities and drawing certain type of people to you.
Yeah.
And so that's the very thing that you were defined by, or, that's the very thing that brought you life in a way. And when it comes to women, when it comes to family, friends, and women, as long as you know your vision, as long as you know what that thing is that excites you, and you double down on it, and you increase yourself in it, now you get to navigate who gets to come into your world, into your circle. The very people that pour into you, that's feeding your enjoyment, that's feeding your excitement, that's trying to level you up versus pull you away. Hey, let's go do this, or hey, you shouldn't be doing that. Hey, why don't you think about doing this instead? These are your enjoyment is here, but they drawing you everywhere away from it. And now you're trying new things, or now you're trying to people please, or family and friends, the women, you trying to please them, do everything else, and now you stretch so far off your path that now it's taking you forever to find it again.
Yeah.
You know, so as a young guy, double down on what you enjoy, grow your community around that enjoyment, pull in the wisdom that continues to develop you so you can pour more into that vision, that enjoyment. And when it comes to that woman, you are not trying to get out of your enjoyment in order to please her. If she doesn't fit that enjoyment, if she can't support or encourage that enjoyment, then she's not aligned with the assignment. So she can't be with you. You chasing tail, trying to please them. None of them match this. You might get that one that's like, hey, that's a good idea. Why don't you try this to go along with that? That's who's helping you in your path. Everybody else is just taking you off of it. So I would say to that younger me, figure out what that is, and anybody that don't match that or anybody that can't help you cultivate that seed, hey, I'm gonna have to give y'all a pause or completely cut you off. One or the other. But this has to be before anything else. That's all I don't even know if that's 1, 2, or 50. It is what it is. I just threw it out there.
No, I mean you said about 3 or 4 in one. That's
Yeah.
great.
Hey, we're gonna work with it.
No,
There we
we're gonna
go.
work. We're gonna work. I mean, between what all of us said, man, it's enough to go around, and it's enough for people to really take this thing serious if they're looking to do so. Because I
Right,
only want to help you if you want to be helped. You know,
That's true.
I'm not gonna waste my time and help somebody who is just not gonna take heed to it.
right,
And we're not steering, we're not steering people wrong. You know what I'm saying? We're not, steering people wrong would be like, oh, no, go out, get you a roster, do all this, go, have, that's, no,
right.
not what we about. So, wow, this was good, man. This was good. I appreciate y'all, man, just giving y'all perspective, man, on this. And it's one of those topics that, man, we could talk for 3 or 4 hours about it if we wanted
So,
to.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
All right.
man, I for sure appreciate y'all for coming on, bro.
I
No
appreciate it
problem.
too, man. It was a good
Oh,
convo.
Yeah,
appreciate the
yeah,
company and the
for
invite.
sure, bro. For sure, for sure. All right, so make sure you're following us on IG where we post reels from the episodes. You can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts at Flip That Switch. So whether you're watching us or listening to us, just make sure you're tapping in with us, as well as if you want to be a guest on the Flip That Switch podcast, you think you have a story that may resonate with people, you want to get on the show, hit me in the comments. I'd love to have you on the show and interview you. But other than that, Doug and Jonathan, bro, appreciate y'all again, man. And we're going to
Yes,
see y'all for the
sir.
next episode.
All
We
right,
out.
man. Have a good one.